All right, everyone, Figfather here. We're going to do a little crash course on rooting hormones. All right. This video was made possible by our friends at Figfather. Go give them a look. They're a great Fig forum. And this video was made possible with our help from Toronto Joe. Thank you, Joe. Let's get to it. Now, in terms of rooting hormones, there are three basic types: powders, our gels, and our liquids. All right, depends on your application and which one you ultimately prefer to deal with. Either way, no matter which ones you use, always wear rubber gloves. Don't ever mess with any of these without protection of your eyes and your hands, and also wear closed shoes because you don't want to accidentally spill any of the stuff and get it on your skin. Okay? All right. Now, the main active ingredient in all three of these is IBA, and that is what it stands for. All three of these have it. Now, the Dip and Grow has an additional one. It has NAA, okay? As you can see right there. These just have the IBA, okay? Now, we're going to get into this a little bit more in depth. Okay, your big box stores, you're going to find something like this, Bonide. Its percentage of IBA is 0.10. It's not very strong for rooting fig cuttings most of the time. This is more suited for green succulents, things that are tender, things that haven't really lignified. That's where this is good at. Now, Hormone has three different levels: 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the strongest one that they got, and I have them listed over here. 1, at that percentage, is 1,000 parts per million. Number 2, at 0.30 percentage, is at 3,000 parts per million, and 3, which is what I have here, is 0.8 percentage at 8,000 parts per million. The concentration of IBA does matter with the type of material you have to root. So usually number 1 is good for green cuttings, things that are green, soft and supple. Number 3 is good for hard cuttings, like if you have an in-ground fig tree and you want to root maybe like a 2-year-old wood, or even, this year's wood that lignified and is, hard. This is what most people are going to use. This one over here is kind of in the middle, semi-lignified. You can use it for some green cuttings. You can use it for some hardwood cuttings, but you really want to use it just for something like sort of green, sort of lignified. It can do, 1's job or 2 or 3's job, I should say, but not very well. You kind of want to use the right one for each job. Now we're going to talk about the gels, primarily Clonex. There are other brands, but Clonex is generally the one that everyone's going to use. All right. Now, these look different. Same company, Growth Technology. This one was made in the USA. This one was made in Australia. Now, Clonex, when they initially came out, they had 3 different colors of gel: the green, the purple, and the red gel. Each color gel would translate to a different concentration of IBA. Same like the Hormone and the powder. The green gel, green supple cuttings. The purple gel, which is what everyone here in the United States usually could get their hands on, because it's really hard to find the green or the red gel here in the States, is 0.30, 3,000 parts per million. The red gel, which is what I have here, this one's made in Australia, and really hard to find in the States. Usually you got to get it imported from outside of the USA. And this one is 0.8%, 8,000 parts per million. When it comes to the powders and the gels, they're almost identical. The Clonex Green is just a little bit stronger than the Hormone 1 in its same category. Same thing, okay? And like I said, it doesn't matter what you use. It's all about concentration and what you feel most comfortable using. And just like the Hormone, the Clonex gel has only the IBA in its mix, okay? Now, most people here use this because, like I said, the middle of the road out of the Hormone or the Clonex will, sort of do the job of either or, just doesn't do it all that well. When it comes to hardwood cuttings, like very lignified fig cuttings, you want to use the Clonex Red Gel, which is what I have here. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the liquid rooting concentrate. All right, Dip and Grow. There are other brands, but Dip and Grow is generally the one that most people can find. Now this one has IBA and NAA. These only have the IBA, the powder, and the gel. The liquid has both. Now the Dip and Grow's concentration is 1% IBA and 0.5% of NAA. Some strong stuff. But you don't use this as is. The best part about Dip and Grow is that you dilute it with distilled water at different concentrations. And just like the 3 levels of powder, 3 levels of gel, 3 levels of concentration mix. Times 20, which is a 1 to 20, 1 part concentrate, 20 parts distilled water, has a parts per million of IBA of 500 and a parts per million of NAA of 250. The times 10, 1 part concentrate to 10 parts distilled water, parts per million IBA 1000, parts per million NAA 500. And the times 5, or the 1 part concentrate, 5 parts distilled water, parts per million of IBA is 1666, and parts per million of NAA is 833. One product will handle your green cuttings, your semi-lignified cuttings, and your fully lignified hardwood cuttings. Whereas with the powder and the gel, you have to buy 3 separate products if you want to accomplish all 3. Okay? Now the concentrations here are different compared to these two, which are more or less in line with the parts per million. But you have to understand that this one not only has IBA, it has NAA in here as well. So that might also make a difference in terms of rootability. Green cuttings, semi-lignified cuttings, and your hardwood cuttings. Okay? We will be doing a rooting hormone test, and we're going to root some cuttings indoors and then outdoors later in summer with all 3 of these. Now these are all relatively the same. Brand new, unopened. This one has still got tape on it, and I've not opened this one up. So brand new, haven't been tampered with, and we're going to go ahead and root some cuttings. Alright? I will be using the Hormone 3, the Red Gel, and the Dip and Grow at the times 5 concentration, which is the strongest version of each, to make sure that we have an even playing field. I'm not going to bother with the mid-tier, the times 10 concentration, the purple gel, or the number 2, or the number 1 green gel, or the times 20 concentration. We have hard lignified cuttings, so we're going to use the strongest concentration of each category. Okay? And I'll show you how I apply each one, and we'll see which one out of the 3 comes ahead. All right? Figfather out.